like it's my year, yeah.
It's Crypto Friday, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the morning show here on Stock Market TV. Spencer, JC, Steve with you. We got a jam-packed show today. We got Louis coming on in a few to talk crypto. Very excited for that. Louis is one of 3 guests on the show today. We got too many guests on this show. 3 is a lot, okay? We have Dave Nicoski coming on afterwards at 9. He's from Vermilion Research. And then, surprise special guest at the end, our intern, Sam, who just took this CMT level 3 exam. He's going to give us his thoughts and review and how he thinks he did. We'll ask him all about it. That'll be later on in the show. So you know what to do. Hit that like button for me, please, and thank you. Good morning, chat. Let's roll.
All right, gentlemen.
The bull market shirt is back. I like it, Steve.
Bull market shirt is back. The light, I guess, isn't back yet. Maybe you should make it darker in there, just to make sure that we can't see you.
Mm-hmm.
Try to make it as dark. Like, see if next week you can somehow make it even darker. No?
Not the end of the world. We'll be back on Monday.
Listen, nobody wants good lighting with Strazza anyway, right? The less we see you, the better it is what I always say, right?
No one ever complains if my camera's blurry or if it's dark in here. We don't get those complaints. So yeah.
I hate to say it, but the audience has spoken and they do want more Strazza. So I'll give you that one.
Yeah.
Maybe they want to listen to you, maybe more audio, maybe,
I tend to do well in bull markets.
Because you own stocks or because you dress appropriately?
Dress appropriately.
We got to get Spencer some bull market shirts. Spencer, I feel like
I have one. I can go put it on if you like.
Spencer's shirts are like all like from like recessions, it seems like.
I'm a big fan of neutral colors. I love the color gray. So
I was on a Twitter Spaces yesterday. One of these it was like a late night. They call them late night degen spaces.
I tried to drop in, JC, but that's below my line. 10 o'clock at night. What are you guys doing?
Well, I was doing some charting. I did legs yesterday, as we know, and gave me some energy, some extra energy. It was like 11 o'clock at night, and I was like bouncing off the walls. I was drinking my Barolo, arguing about market breadth. I mean, it was really something, I was talking with that guy Cantro. I didn't realize that he worked at Piper Sandler. So he's boys with Craig Johnson.
Love me some Craig Johnson.
Love me some Craig Johnson. He was, we were arguing about whether it's been a bull market or a bear market, so we don't have to rehash that. We know how that went.
Or a bear market rally, right? That's what.
Right. But you see, I cheated because I actually have the data and I actually looked, right? So it's almost like not fair for other people to have this discussion with me,
It's not an argument that I even want to entertain anymore. I think just a few short months ago, end of October, there was something there, but at this point, no way. Do cryptos moon in bear markets? Do they do the mooning in bear markets?
It's probably less likely, but I'm sure it's happened once or twice.
I like what you're doing. I like what you're doing with the verb here.
I don't know if they've ever mooned in a bear market.
I don't know. Define moon. Define moon. What does that even mean?
Moon is
go cryptocurrency by cryptocurrency and go see what they're doing. That's what mooning is.
Like RSIs, like in the 90s, typically stuff like that.
No, Spencer.
No, I don't know.
Are you not entertained?
Is the Cardano mooning today?
Yeah. Are you not entertained?
I'm pretty entertained.
Spencer still thinks it's funny money.
It is the time.
Oh, come on!
With these things,
some of it is funny money though. But all right, it's not an argument against the bull market. It's just
Spencer
Can we do the state of the markets? Because I just want to get right into crypto.
Yeah.
No, I have something to say.
I got so many crypto charts. How much do you think I'm outperforming your crypto hedge funds by this year? Like a lot or just a little?
I'm not in any crypto hedge funds. I'm not an investor in any crypto hedge funds. Question. So anyway, so last night in this DGen Twitter Spaces, we were having this discussion, and I was asked if I'm more technical or fundamental, and it's more like I'm just like a nihilist, right? Like I believes in nothing, right? It's kind of like in the movie Big Lebowski, like the guy drunk in the pool, like just laying there.
That's you.
I feel like that's me. Like
Yeah.
I'm just so punch drunk after all these years. I'm just too old to give a shit. Like I just don't care, right? So it's not about what I think the market should do or like it could do. Like I'm too old for that shit. Just tell me what the market is actually doing, right? Like all this hypothetical bullshit and like, oh, but theoretically, yeah, I don't have time for that. I have 3 kids. I'd rather just
Really
focus on what the market is actually doing and skip all the other bullshit. And then I will derive the implications from that market behavior from there, right? It's just, is that probably a good way to explain it?
I get what you're saying. I don't know if you explained it that well.
You don't think I explained it that well?
Like you've just been through it all. It hardens you as an investor or a trader.
It's like people who've never, it hardens me, right? Yeah.
And then what that does is when you get hardened as a trader, as a market participant, it gives you the emotions that you need to be a great trader or investor, right?
Or the lack of emotions.
Yeah, don't let your emotions get in the way. Well, the more that you do this and sit through these cycles and see everything and watch crude oil go to 0 and then back to 200, it's like, nothing really surprises you or gets you riled up.
I know. You think it's a good thing or a bad thing? I feel like sometimes it's like, people think I'm insensitive.
It's a great thing for making money.
Oh, well, that's the only part that I'm interested in. Right. So, all right. So that's good.
Yeah. Like you might sound like an asshole a lot, but it's good for your money, I think.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, that's all I'm interested in.
Look, I think JC, what you're saying is there's no substitute for experience, right? And you've been through it now. You've been through, more, a handful of cycles, and now you've sort of seen what there is to be seen, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just, it doesn't matter. Like all these stories and stuff, like all the fairy tales they tell you about like the economy and all this stuff, like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. The only thing that matters, because remember, it's not my fundamental opinion that matters. It's not Strazza's. It's nobody's fundamental opinion actually matters. It's only the market's opinion of the fundamentals that matters. So if we know that, and we know that it's only the market's opinion of the fundamentals that pays anybody, then why wouldn't we just look at the market's opinion of fundamentals, and you can see that in price, right? That's how I look at it.
If you're getting cynical now, imagine JC in like 20 or 30 years. Oh boy.
Good.
The market is the best fundamental analyst.
It's the best economist, all those things. All those things. Yeah, man.
It's the best sell side research firm too. Do we do state of the markets?
Yeah, because think about it. It's all of the known and unknown information. Like all that inside information, insider trading, all the illegal shit people are doing with information that they shouldn't have or shouldn't act upon, that's being priced in also.
Well, there's no knowns. There's the things we know, the things we know we don't know, and the things we don't know we don't know.
Right. It ain't the things you know, it's the things you think you know that you just don't know. What is it?
That's
the things you know that just ain't so, right? What is it? It was one of those Twainisms,
Yeah. All right,
guys, I brought a lot of charts.
I know. I'm going. We're going.
This guy. All right, what do you got?
Jobs number, by the way. No one cares.
Do they still do?
We should be reading that stuff off.
Is it the farm payrolls today, or is it just the non-farms?
It's always just the non-farms. The farms aren't big enough to have payrolls anymore.
Dude, tell me when the farm payrolls come out. That's the one I want to know.
Oh man, I have to refresh my screen. I'm sorry.
Actual 150K versus
Thank
99K
you.
previous and
Thank
158K.
you.
So what does that mean? Tell me what that means.
150,000 new non-farm payrolls.
So that's actually pretty in line. That's actually below the estimate. Estimate was I saw 190. Some of this was boosted by people going back to work and how like the
The estimate
Hollywood
was
Rex.
158. The estimate was 158. It came in at 150.
I saw 190 on Dow Jones, but
so what? So
doesn't matter.
basically, just about as many jobs as people thought we're going to get. Is that essentially what? Is that the clip notes?
Working Bloomberg machine. Seriously, dude.
Dude, I'm going off Dow Jones data. Okay, so it's pretty reliable. Unemployment estimate 3.9, actual in line, right?
We do this day in the markets. This
$199.
conversation is making us all dumber.
Expecting 180.
Oh, now you're saying 180. First you say 150. Now you're saying 180.
We're talking about the payrolls. That's 199 versus expected 180, and the U.S. private non-farm payrolls.
Oh, the private. Okay. Unemployment 3.7 versus 3.9. So,
Strazza, can you explain to some of us why we should give a shit? Like, why? Tell me why this matters. Do you think?
Well,
or tell me why it doesn't matter.
Well, the easy answer is the Fed pays attention to this, and people think that the Fed matters, and what the Fed's next move is matters, and the Fed is paying attention to this data and inflation because that's their mandate.
And then let's pretend we know what the Fed is thinking. What do you think? How will the Fed interpret this, in your opinion?
I have no idea. That's
not
for me. I mean,
so then why do we care?
Neto could tell you. Neto could definitely tell you.
Yeah, this sounds like a Neto conversation.
Yeah,
all right.
Okay. Anyway, moving on to the charts.
Yeah, please, Jesus Christ. Do you want to start with the crypto? I have a question to pose first. You want me to pose it or no?
I got a question to pose too with the chart.
Okay. My question comes with the chart too. All right, ready? Slide 2. All right, slide 2.
These are not cryptos.
Slide 2. Slide 3, please. Sorry. There. Remember in July, we were fading these levels because this is how the chart made the most sense to me at the time, and we were looking to fade it, looking for that seasonal correction, right? And we got it from those levels, right? So the market sort of reiterated that yes, in fact, that was the big level. Go to the other chart versus just the absolute highs, right? So go back and forth a couple of times, Spencer, right? So this is how I'm looking at it. Any thoughts here?
You know my thoughts.
I don't know your thoughts, actually. I would love to hear your thoughts. Like, how do you feel about this?
Sometimes it takes some time and some corrective action, some consolidation to absorb the overhead supply at former highs like this.
Yeah, but which is the resistance that we should be focused on? Is it the absolute highs, or is it that first high, lower high?
I typically will draw through blow-offs. I don't know if this is really a blow-off, but I think you can do it, right? Like me and Pat were talking about it yesterday. John Murphy will teach you when you're drawing trend lines, almost usually ignore the first peak because it's oftentimes like a blow-off peak. I think you could do it both ways. If you had two lines there, that would be fine too. It's a zone.
So if we start taking out the July highs, then it's blue skies?
Ooh, I like that.
I think so.
Oh yeah, I'm not that clever. It wasn't on purpose.
Yeah. Like I like the way the NASDAQ is drawn here, right? Because you have that touch in 21 before the ultimate cycle high, and then you have that touch from the summer. Yeah. Same with the S&P.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's I think this is a valid question that I don't know the answer to, but I just wanted to present that because it's something that I'm thinking about, Because
it's not black and white.
Yeah, the market never is, right? It's
David Lundgren would come on and draw a giant rectangle that covers all of it.
That's also true. That's also fair. Yeah.
Some people would draw two lines. They're both important.
Yeah.
We're steadily working our way through this zone of overhead.
Would you argue that this line here is more important than the absolutes? I would, because it was hit so many times.
Yeah, and because the summer highs.
The summer reiterated that this thesis was the more valid one, right? Obviously.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. Good question, right?
Yeah. Ready for crypto?
I know you are. Hit that bumper. Hit that Crypto Fridays bumper.
Boom.
And then Louis.
All right.
Wait, can I bring Louis on now? I'm bringing Louis on now.
Yeah, bring Louis on.
All right, yeah.
I was.
Got my fingers on the pulse, avocado and toast, leather seats, jet plane, always ready to go.
Good morning, guys.
Oh.
Does your bumper
Louis.
say avocado toast? Your bumper, it
I'm
says
not
avocado
sure.
toast.
Maybe
Play
because
it
he's a
again.
millennial. Maybe
Play it
because he's a
again and
millennial.
listen.
Does
Everybody
it?
listen. Play it
Go.
again.
Playing
Oh,
it
wait.
again.
Play it. Play it.
All right, wait. Close your eyes. We have to close your eyes and listen. All
Listen
right.
for the
Got my fingers on the pulse, avocado and toast, leather seats, jet plane, always ready to go.
It did
So
said
because
avocados with
I'm
toast.
this young millennial, it's avocado on toast.
That's right. That's right. You are just. Do they have avocados in New Zealand?
That's
They
so
have
good.
avocados in New Zealand. Come on, JC. What sort of question is that?
But are they Florida
know.
avocados or California avocados?
They have more sheep than humans. So I don't know. Maybe they don't have avocados. They don't have Mexicans in New Zealand. Do they have Mexicans in New Zealand? Not that avocados are just a Mexican thing, but they don't have
think
Mexicans there, right?
I don't think the avocados come from Mexicans though. They come from trees. I have one in my yard.
You're such an asshole.
Oh my god.
What an asshole. No, you're right. Cubans eat avocados too, so I shouldn't say that. It's just yeah. So the answer is they have avocados in New Zealand.
We've absolutely got avocados in New Zealand. We've got some.
Do they have avocado toast?
I'm in Wellington. I live in Wellington. Notorious avocado on toast here. You know, it's very much like it's like the California of New Zealand. Very like hipster. We love our coffee over here. Avocado on toast goes very well.
You know what they don't have in New Zealand? They don't have chilaquiles.
No, I know that's the one thing I miss.
Yeah, the chilaquiles. Louis had his first chilaquil. I didn't know what Cubans don't eat that shit. I moved to California and I started hanging out with Mexicans, and they're like, "Let me school you, boy," and I was schooled. And chilaquiles, woo!
That was an
I
experience.
mean, I'm
Yeah.
just like a little Kiwi boy who's never had real Mexican food. You
You're like
take me to this place,
6'3". There's like nothing little about you.
and then you take me to this Mexican breakfast place. I'm still thinking about that.
Yeah,
Damn, that was good.
that was good. That was so good. San Diego chilaquiles, hell yeah. We have a little Puerto Rican rapper who's turned into he has a Mexican accent now. He doesn't even eat. All his Puerto Rican friends make fun of him. All right, Louis. So short-term holders in Bitcoin are obviously making money, in case you hadn't been paying attention. Long-term holders, a large percentage of those are making money. Seems like the only people not making money in Bitcoin is the group that decided not to own any for whatever reason. Can't imagine why they would not own it.
Absolutely. And so, you know, one of the reasons we're talking about, you know, dollar cost averaging and the long-term opportunity in Bitcoin when FTX blew up and when everybody thought it was the end of the world was we were looking at this data and saying, hey, hang on, guys. Actually, everybody is losing money, which when we look at past cycles, generally tends to be a time that's advantageous for long-term holders to begin averaging into the market. And so now we're seeing the other side of that. Now we're seeing people, all, you know, everybody making money, everybody's in the green, which is, you know, it's just standard market behavior as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, if you bought those prior cycle highs, right, on the FTX thing, already up more than 100%.
I mean, Sam Bankman-Fried is probably sitting in some jail cell somewhere thinking, man, if only I could keep this Ponzi running a few extra months, I would have been making a lot of money.
There's like some chatter that the old chairman of the NYSE, I forget the guy's name, is like gonna buy the FTX assets and like bring it back. You guys heard this? What's this guy's name? No?
I don't know.
No,
I don't
haven't
care.
heard of it.
Let him rot in jail. I don't give a shit. It's not my problem.
Well, that's going on. Former NYSE president in talks to reboot the FTX exchange.
All right.
All right.
Well,
No takers? Go ahead.
okay. No
Move on.
takers.
Move on.
Lou Dog, 48,000 on Bitcoin. Do you think that how much struggle city you think we're gonna have there?
I mean, we've got sorry about that. Yeah, so look, we're retesting this 47,000 level. I'd anticipate a little bit of consolidation there. That not only where we peaked out in April of last year, but it's also a key Fibonacci extension, from that 2018 decline. So I mean, look, this is a logical place to see some digestion of gains.
You got to take that gross 200-day moving average chart out of there.
You don't like the 200-day moving average?
For what?
I mean, that's a 2-year moving average, I believe.
Yeah, that's way too long. That's way too long.
Yeah, you guys are veterans. You don't need training wheels like a smoothing mechanism to identify trends. You guys can just identify the trends. Like, what is this?
Oh, I want to talk about indicator math later on this.
Nerd alert.
And let's bring your attention to the bubble charts that I've got here. So
Ooh.
he loves a good bubble chart. So
Look at this. What are we looking at here?
winners and
This is what I'm
losers.
fucking talking about with bubble charts.
And so this is
September 11th?
This is our universe of all the coins above $250 million in market cap. I've lowered that threshold just so we can capture some additional movers there. And I've anchored the x-axis to the percentage change since the 11th of September of this year, which you might think, why have I anchored that? If you go to the next chart, you can see why, which is the our custom crypto index at bottom on the 11th of September. So that's why I've anchored. It's not just some random date. It's when
It's a hell of an anchor date there, Louis. Don't let him talk to you like that. It's a great
exactly.
anchor date.
It's not arbitrarily picked. So
No.
that's when a lot of coins bottomed. And I've also prepared another bubble chart.
Ooh, hold on. Can we go to the other
bubble?
the first bubble chart first? I didn't look at that enough.
Okay, so yeah, so you can see just a variety of leaders there. So you got Solana. We've been talking about Solana a lot. Chain, which is one that we have been covering. And then also Injective Protocol. We've been got a chart of that we can talk about briefly afterwards. Avalanche, and then you
Luna.
can see
How about that?
Bitcoin
Luna, huh?
over to the left there. Yeah,
Solana's been the best.
it's a bull market when they're betting Luna.
That Thor chain, pretty impressive too. But how about that Luna? Wouldn't have seen that coming. I mean, obviously I didn't see it. That's not true. We talked about it. I just didn't do anything about it.
Stick with Solana and Avalanche.
Can you even buy Luna? Where does one even buy that? Can you?
That's what I'm saying. Just stick with Solana and Avalanche.
You can buy on a variety of exchanges. Again, what I want to be buying a protocol that's notoriously been a scam before. I mean, not really my sort of play, but you can do if you want to.
No, don't do that stuff. You know what would be great here? If the bubble size, we could do market cap. Right? Because I want to buy.
Great call.
I want to buy the biggest ones, and that'll point out that Solana and Avalanche are the ones that you really want to be in. Because these
BTC
other guys,
and the BTC and ETH will stand out there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, change the bubble size to market cap. Great call, Strazza. You're right.
All right,
and then let's have a look at the second bubble chart, which I've anchored it to when Bitcoin bottomed.
Oh,
and you can see Injective Protocol way over to the right there. You got a few other coins, Fetch AI, a cash network, ticker symbol AKT.
You're going back to last year, the lows from last year.
Yeah, and so this is Bitcoin lows. And so this was the lows last year. And so let's run through some of these individual charts and just look at some of the levels. So I want to firstly, it'll be an absolute shame if I don't talk about this breakout in Ethereum. So I want to go to the Ethereum chart. So above 2,000, this is an 18-month base. If a base this big, it'd be surprising not to see it get back to those former all-time highs of 4,800.
I don't think your price target's aggressive enough. Throw mine up, Alfonso. I want to ask
You
I think.
did you see his chart on Twitter? I
Hey,
was
no.
like, buddy, come on. What, you had like a $16,000 price target? Like 26,000. Strazza.
Did I do
I
this right?
respect it. I respect it. I
Oh
respect
my
it.
god.
No? Is there something here? Am I just crazy?
Okay, we're moving on.
I don't
even
think
wanna entertain
he's
this.
crazy. Generally speaking, I think Strazza is crazy, and I'm the first one to tell it. But I honestly, I think on the crazy scale, it's probably like a 4.5 right now. 4.5 on this crazy scale, because like the hot crazy matrix, Strazza's at least a 4 crazy. So I'll give him like a 4.5 here.
Listen, this isn't so much a price target as it is a thought exercise of how everyone should be thinking. If you've completely ruled this out as a possibility, that's a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, listen, it's aggressive. But like we were talking about before, I've seen some shit over the years, bro. Like I have seen, like, if Ethereum does this, are we all gonna be like surprised about it? Not really, right?
One holds like Strazza gave a price target, didn't give a time window. No, I'm not giving either. Okay, my price target is higher, and my time frame is I don't know.
By next summer, we'll be
I'm a
taking
technician.
profits at 26,000,
I could do that.
right?
Yeah, I don't have to give you a year-end 2024 price target. Should we do
Okay,
that?
I'm not saying that it's completely out of the question, right? Like if we
Dude,
get
my
back to those
crypto punk's worth at least 2 million if
if we
that's
get
happens,
back
right?
to those all-time highs,
Beach
then
house.
chances are we're going to be at a place where we'll be wanting to buy the breakout of that. So it's not going to be surprising to see it trading well and above, that initial target of 4,800. But 2650, man, is that aggressive? I respect it.
$2 million is not going to buy the beach house that I want, unfortunately.
Shit.
I know, it's a bummer. New 52-week highs for CryptoPunks today, by the way, for those keeping score at home.
How about that helium?
How about that helium? Huh? How about that?
I'm gonna plug my miner back in today. I'm gonna get
That's the top. That's the top right there.
We put out a trade long helium on this breakout of $2, and it's trading, into the fives. So hell of a move here.
See,
Hell of a move. Hell of a call on your part there, Louis. Nice call.
Yeah. And what's the next one? We should do one of these every week because these things are moving.
How about injector protocol? That one's been consolidating.
Yup.
Let's bring up that above 1930.
Yeah,
you
like
can
this.
Buy this one with a
Is this okay? Is this not below your line there, Strazza? This is above your line?
It's okay. Like, listen, I probably won't dabble in this. I have plenty of others, but these are the patterns you kind of have to buy in crypto bull markets. This last green arc that we're showing here at this 1930 level, you get these coils, these bull flags, these short-term continuation patterns. I went back and I spent over an hour yesterday looking at a dozen different cryptos during 2020 and 2021. Flip up a weekly chart. You barely get back-to-back down weeks. Red candles are very rare. The red candles that you will find in 2020 and 2021 all have very long lower shadows. In other words, any weakness gets bought right up. And the point is, it can become very hard to enter during that uptrend phase. And if we're entering that now, it's something like this that you need to buy. It's the coil in Solana that resolved while we were sleeping last night that you need to buy. It's the coil in Avalanche that resolved 2 days ago that you need to be buying. It's the pattern in Ethereum, coiled right at that base breakout level last week.
Fun fact, Injective Protocol, now the 41st largest cryptocurrency. I remember when this was over 100. Wow. 41st largest cryptocurrency, $1.6 billion in market capitalization. And just to kind of mention a couple of things, Bitcoin now up to 850 billion in market cap, Ethereum pushing 300 billion in market cap, Solana now at 31, Cardano at 18, and the old Doge pushing 14 billion, Avalanche coming into 10 billion, Chainlink just under 10.
And the total crypto market cap just eclipsing 1.5 trillion over the last few
days. How about this? This is a fun one. If Ethereum were to go and hit my wild not price target, it would be as big as Apple.
You think that's feasible?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I remember a time many, many years ago when JC and I were doing a video and laughing about the prospects of Apple having, what was it? Was it a 1 trillion market cap? Or was it two?
I think the two. And it was people were like, JC, that would put Apple at 2 trillion. I'm like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, that's you might not like that, but I personally too old to care. What about this one? I got one for you. Go slide 2 there, Spencer. This is total 3. So this is the shit coins, if you will. So this is all of the total market cap in crypto outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Making new 52-week highs also. So when it's altcoin season and altcoins are breaking out like we're showing, is that typically something you see in bear markets?
Certainly not. And what's interesting is that when you look at our crypto index, because the difference between this is from our crypto index is that ours is equally weighted. So it's going to give more weight to those smaller coins. And when you look at our crypto index, it's still quite a way away from the breakout that you're seeing in this chart. So if you're thinking to yourself, well, hey, look, these things have already run. The fact of the matter is that we're still incredibly early, even though, we might be a little bit, I hate to say the word, extended over the short term. The fact of the matter is that a lot of these coins are only just waking up, are only just breaking out of these bases. So if you think that the end of the move is here, I think you're looking at it wrong. This is the beginning of a new primary uptrend, and dips are for buying.
Look it's at the new slide 3 there, Spencer. So kind of like a zoomed out version of the total 3. So again, 450 billion in market capitalization for cryptos outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum.
That's a great chart.
When you look at this base, it looks like a lot of software stocks. It looks like a lot of stocks in the growth indexes. I mean,
it looks like ARK.
It looks like ARK. This looks like the chart of a lot of the stocks that Strazza has been pounding the table on, right? Like, I don't think that's a coincidence.
These are just more ARKy stocks, more speculative growth stocks. Yeah. I'm buying Datadog. I'm buying Net. I'm buying these. Same thing.
Just like JC said, these things are just more software stocks.
That's it.
Yeah, I think that was a Linzen thing. I don't want to take credit for that. I think it was Linzen because I said, "Oh, they're just more tech stocks," and then I think Linzen was like, "No, they're software." So, by the way, Ethereum's total market cap's only half the size, pretty much. Does that mean anything to you, or does that not matter? Like, in other words, Ethereum relative to total 3?
Yeah, I mean,
it's probably going to keep falling, right? On a relative basis, total 3 will continue to appreciate relative to it if things are going up.
I really don't know because I think a lot of coins still go to 0. So what's
in an environment that they're all ripping, you're going to be, I don't think it's going to be that many going to 0. I mean, eventually on the next cycle, but not on the way up.
All right. So during the bull market, then it should fall. And during bear markets, Ethereum and Bitcoin's exposure to the total market cap should rise.
Yep.
And one thing I'm going to wonder is whether, as this market matures, whether you're going to get, one, the magnitude of the runs that we've seen in the past, and 2, whether you get the same level of activity and shitcoins, for lack of a better word. And as the market matures, you're going to see a lot of that behavior, eventually grow out. And so that'll be interesting to watch over the next cycle or 2.
I think interest rates are very important to this. Can we throw up my spaghetti line chart of Bitcoin, Dixie, and the 10-year funds? And I could ask these guys.
I mean, just like I argued last week with the halvening, I feel like the halvening is a spurious correlation. And in fact, the more important long-term correlation has been Bitcoin's relationship to liquidity. And so I absolutely agree with this. And so this correlation's been in place for a long time. And I think that people undersell its importance, particularly over the long term for crypto cycles.
So when Louis says liquidity, he's being fancy because he was recently in business school. He's talking about this dark blue line.
You were so fancy, Louis, with your undergrad degree, huh?
So blue line go down.
Do they have accredited universities in New Zealand?
Do they have accredited universities? JC, come on.
All right, now I'm just breaking balls. So they got avocados. They got accredited universities.
We might not have good tacos, but at least we've got accredited business schools.
Listen, the East Coast has shitty tacos too. Like New Zealand probably has better tacos than New York and the East Coast. I mean, these Mexicans never came here. They never went to New Zealand.
JC could talk about tacos and Mexicans all day.
It's criminal how bad the tacos are on the East Coast. Seriously, it's so bad.
How important is this intermarket relationship? Does Bitcoin need these to keep falling?
Yeah.
Really? It needs them to keep falling. It can't go up unless they're falling.
Listen, I've seen some shit over the years. Anything can happen. But, if the dollar's strong, am I going to be pounding the table? Is Bitcoin going to be absolutely ripping in a strong dollar environment? Like, is that the bet that you want to make? Probably not.
I think rates are more important than dollars for these particular assets.
Your mic is rubbing.
It's when the air conditioning comes on. I don't have the vents back on yet, so it's blowing really hard, and that's what you've been hearing all week.
Strazza's having serious issues, man.
The office is still a mess. I know. I'll be back in a minute.
Do they not have lighting in the?
I was about to say, man, you need to sort out that lighting.
Dude, seriously, man. Strazza's getting office is painted. He's doing all kinds of stuff. Lou Dog, why don't we talk about kind of correlations with equities, right? Technology was really ripping this year and Bitcoin was not. And now we got that catch up, and we continue to ask, are we going to get a catch up trade? What's going on? And we got it, right? So
yeah, and in fact, you're almost kind of seeing it over the last few days and the last week or two, where technology is consolidated, it's flagged, and Bitcoin just still kept on ripping. And so, over the long term, that correlation is still in place. But I think over shorter time frames, it's a lot more loosely defined, and so you're not getting that correlation as tight as it was during, say, the bear market of last year. But again, as to your point, I think it's going to be incredibly difficult for crypto as an asset class to keep trending higher if you don't get that support from the dollar, from yields, and from equities.
can we talk about some of the equities? MicroStrategies, Coinbase, Marathon, Riot. I mean, Coinbase already breaking out. MicroStrategies already was, right? What we've been saying around here, MicroStrategies is a bet on Bitcoin. Coinbase is a bet on cryptocurrencies. If these Mara and Riot, if they start taking out those summer highs, you're looking at a double from there. Easy, no?
Absolutely. And a marathon, I really love marathon above that 1050 level. Short interest was reasonably high. And now you're just seeing that squeeze. You're seeing that squeeze in all crypto equities across the board. And it's really interesting, again, to that point where a lot of technology has cooled off and consolidated over the last 2 weeks. But a lot of these crypto equities have just been absolute face rippers. And so, I mean, if you want to get all fundamental, I think now Bitcoin's at a place now where a lot of the miners are in the green. And so their cost basis is lower than what the market is trading at today. So now you're seeing that aggressive repricing if you wanted to get fundamental about it. But the fact of the matter is that these charts are shaping up very nicely. And, if you look at Coinbase, that's, a long-term basing pattern. And so it really just doesn't get much more bullish than that.
That Coinbase chart looks a lot like that Total 3, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like, Total 3, it looks like ARK. You don't fade these sort of base breakouts.
Here, I'm going to throw up, Spencer, throw up slide 2 here. So you can see that coin. See that? Right?
Beautiful chart.
Big base. Looks like that Total 3 chart, doesn't it? Looks like cryptocurrencies total market cap outside of Bitcoin and Ethereum. Looks just like it. Throw up the Marathon next. So Brian and Marathon are basically set up very similarly, but I mean, we break through 20, it's gone.
Trouble as we give Strazza, he was definitely on the Coinbase. He's been on the Coinbase for a long time.
He has.
that initial failed breakdown at the beginning of the year, and this thing has just been stepping higher now.
Throw up my coin chart. This is where my head's at.
You like your coin chart better than my coin chart?
It's different.
Ooh, look at all the pretty colors and lines.
Fancy.
You are
Maybe not the best
fancy.
place to enter, right? That's all. From a long-term perspective, it's not bad to be extended from the long-term mean. But if you're looking for an entry now, and if you have a short time frame, probably not the best spot. No.
Spencer, throw up the total 3 chart just so you can compare coin and total 3. They're exactly the same, man. Which I guess makes sense, right? Haven't you always said that Coinbase is a bet on crypto, and isn't total 3 essentially that, right? So I guess the market just keeps proving that thesis to be valid. No, it certainly hasn't invalidated it, right?
I mean, I guess it's the same with a lot of coins right now. As I said before, a lot of these coins, I guess over the short term, you can say that they are extended, but the fact of the matter is that over the long term, they have built out these long-term bases, and you don't fade those.
We're getting a question in the chat about whether institutions, the big boys, are in crypto. I think that
They're in
there are institutions in crypto. I mean, just do the math. I mean, you're looking at what, 850 billion, so almost $1 trillion in Bitcoin. Total crypto market cap right around 1.5, 1.6 trillion. That puts cryptocurrencies worth more than all the silver in the world. And institutions are certainly, and then, but the on the equity side, you're still not seeing much, right? I mean, what's the biggest one? Coinbase is like 30 billion market cap, something like that.
Yeah.
Where's
And
MicroStrategy sitting at?
I wouldn't be surprised if
MicroStrategy's under 10. It's 9.
Is it really that small?
Yeah.
Coinbase's cap table is already really interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if an institution took a large equity stake in Coinbase, because they have a vested interest in Coinbase now that they're launching these spot ETFs. Coinbase is going to be their exchange, right? So it's going to be ultimately the provider of all the transactions that are going through these ETFs. Why wouldn't JP Morgan or BlackRock want a stake? Why wouldn't they want to have a seat at the table? I wouldn't be surprised if we see that in the future. They already own big positions, to be clear. I wouldn't be surprised if they get bigger.
How about when it's much easier for institutions to and investors in general to get into Bitcoin when there's an ETF vehicle in which to express that thesis?
And so, is the ETF launch or the ETF approval, is that just going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news event?
I don't think so. I think there's not a lot of compare cells out there, but I think that the GLD launch comparison is probably a pretty good one. No, you think that the GLD, when they launched GLD and what gold did after that, do you think that was a coincidence?
I mean, a statistical sample size of 1, so you can't read too much into that. But I do see what you're meaning.
Here, Spencer, throw up slide 2 here. So you can see the launch of the ETF was in November of 2004. And look what gold futures did after that. I mean, that was a serious move in precious metals. Right? Serious move. And
how did we take a conversation about crypto and make it about this boring ass rock that never goes up or outperforms anything?
Excuse me, young lad. Clearly you haven't done the work. I would encourage you to go back and count, and you'll see times where gold not only did very well, but also outperformed its alternatives, particularly stocks. It has happened before, and it will happen again. You don't have to participate in it.
Stop. I won't. Some of the highest beta assets in the world are just right now entering brand new primary uptrends. And you're talking to me about this thing.
Listen, asshole, you're not listening to me.
Blown.
No, you're not listening to me. I'm talking about the launch of the gold ETF in 2004 and what gold prices did immediately thereafter, which was absolutely rip, as part of a conversation when we're wondering how Bitcoin is going to act once all these institutions have a vehicle in which to express their bullish thesis.
Yeah, come on, Strazza, you need to listen.
Now do home builders.
But institutions didn't need a home builder ETF in order to express a bullish thesis. So
yeah. All right, fine.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. What home builders have anything to do with this?
I just heard gold. Sorry. I'm doing administrative things over here.
You're like the old man, like yelling into the air, like, you know, right? Like, what's wrong
Wouldn't
with
the
you?
old
Why are
man
you so angry, Strazza?
Wouldn't the old man be buying the gold? I'm not angry. I'm very happy. Look at my shirt. Okay.
Hey, look at my shirt. I've got the
Yes.
sell puts naked shirt. You know, bull
Nice,
market behavior.
nice. It's a little risque, that shirt, you know. I like it. I'm in the airplane. Where the hell were we going? California, maybe? I forget where we were going. And I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden Strazza walks in with his Sell Puts Naked t-shirt. I didn't know we were on the same flight. Where were we going? Cali?
The fuck, where are we going?
I don't remember where we're going. Doesn't matter.
We met. It was the weirdest thing because we got on a flight from both connecting in Charlotte. We were going to California, right?
I think so. I think we were going to California.
We connected and then we're on the same flight. But I always wear the Sell Puts Naked shirt when I'm traveling. People love it. I make a lot of friends when I wear that shirt.
Do they love it, or do they just give you weird looks?
Both,
No,
probably both. Those who know, know, and then
people think it's
I mean,
people who get it think it's hilarious. Okay. Yeah.
You don't
How
get many
people-
options. You
how
don't
many
get many
people get
options
it?
traders here in New Zealand. So I walk around with a shirt, and people don't really understand. They just think I'm some strange guy, just naked, just selling puts. They don't really understand it.
There's almost always some older gentleman sitting in first class, like, yes.
Yes, that's my guy.
All right, guys. Louis Sykes is our crypto master over here. He helped author a report on Bitcoin that we published a few weeks ago that is free. The link to that is in the chat. I'll also throw it on the screen there. You can scan that QR code right there and get our free crypto report with all of Louis' crypto charts and analysis. Louis, have a good one. Thanks a lot.
Hey guys,
Talk
this
to you
was
next
fun.
week.
You guys have a good weekend.
All right, dog.
Later.
All right, I think we have Dave Nicoski. I think he doesn't have a camera, but he's here. Now he has a camera. Okay, Dave, I'm going to bring you on. If you're good, I'm good. Dave Nicoski, institutional technical analyst at Vermilion Research, and yeah, I guess we'll just go. All right, where's my intro bumper? There it is.
Jay, we've been friends for a long time. Make the call.
I mean, this is pretty professional, guys.
Nice show you got going here.
David.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey,
David.
All right. What's happening?
I was going to throw up the camera, but I'm going to lay my phone down so it's going to face the ceiling. So hopefully that's all right.
Just lay over it.
Okay.
Do like a push-up.
Just hold it up, right?
Lean it up. Yeah, we'll look at you.
Just like
there
that?
you go.
We need to see you.
This is
Right?
There you
Well, I'm
go.
going to try to do this. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, so, David, you're in Minneapolis. This is the first time we meet. You're in Minneapolis?
I'm actually north of Minneapolis. Grew up in Minneapolis, lived there for quite some time. Background-wise, I worked with my father. He was the head strategist at Piper Jaffray for many years. Worked with Steve Luthold in the early 70s. So I've been doing technicals literally since high school. I'm 54 now, to give you guys an idea. Just to, and it might not mean anything to some people in the room, but, our team was a 9 times I ranked team, 3 times best of the best. That puts you against every analyst in the world, fundamental economics, you name it. So I left 2005. I started Vermilion. So that's kind of my background.
What's in the water there in Minneapolis? Why are there so many technicians in that area?
Yeah, isn't the other David?
You have, TSI Group, you have Lowry's there. You have a lot of big, technical related firms. Luthold obviously recently passed away. Knew him very well. Great guy. Sorry to see it end that way for him, but
Have
really,
you seen Ralph Acampora's barn?
yeah, down in Burnsville area. Yeah.
Is it awesome or what? I haven't been.
I haven't seen it. I used to, spend time with Ralph Acampora as part of the MTA. He'd always come and visit us. We'd always have, drinking hours downtown once in a few months. Yeah, it was good. It was good.
Well, I'll have to make it up your way. We'll all get together at some point soon. Look forward to that. Why don't we talk markets? What's on your mind? What are you
Yeah.
seeing out there? Bear market or what?
No, not a bear market. I mean, you can understand what a lot of technicians were going through, from that March period to, even through the end of October is, the breadth wasn't there. Strong markets are contrived of, more than 51% of stocks moving up. It was certainly more than 7. We all know that. But, it was positioning, and you have, as I always tell everyone, and we have all the data going back to 1969 on every stock that's ever traded. And one of the aspects of that is, all of the moves in the market are divergences in sector. I was very bearish in January of last year. But you can't phrase it as bearish. You can be bullish a sector and bearish something else. Energy deviated from the rest of the market, well over 100%. So, I'm not the guy that you come to hear about where the S&P is going. It's, if I come out with a prediction that the S&P is going to 5,000, it's sector positioning, is purely what it is. If I would have guessed and I don't like to do the S&P type of predictions because, again, it's how you get there. Staples are getting trounced right now. I can tell you what sectors you should have been in and which ones you shouldn't. So, that's if you took the best sector on an annualized basis from 1969 to present, the best from the worst is about 32% on an annualized basis. And that doesn't even suggest that, there's interim positioning by the end of the year. The second best sector minus the second worst sector is 28%. So, the deviations between sectors are a lot more important than what the market does. And, I think that we lose sight of that. And, when I go into these spaces and everyone wants a prediction of where the S&P goes, I don't care. I want to be in the right sector that gets you there.
And when you're talking, it's interesting when you're talking about, let's say you are talking about the S&P 500 and you have a bullish upside target in the S&P, chances are you probably want to be overweight technology and you're just sort of deriving what the S&P 500 is going to do, right? Something like that.
Yeah, well, I just found it useless again to come out with a prediction for the S&P. Just tell me how we're getting there. What sectors are going to lead? Yeah. If you're overweight the top 2 sectors and one the best from the worst on an annualized basis on average is 32%, and the second best from the second worst is 28%. I mean, I can tell you want to be in those 2 sectors that are at the top and underweight the 2 sectors at the bottom. Yeah. So, tech is a great place. But if we go into an economic slowdown, I think there's, I think for my view, the concentration that we have in these mega caps are by far the biggest that we've seen since the 2000 bubble. If you create a panic, if you start, if you have an issue with passive fund flows, something on that nature, then it's of concern. It's no concern right now while everything's intact, right? The Japanese yen carry trade, that was a big debacle in 2008, 2009.
Yeah, I remember.
So again, there's always, ever since I've been doing this for 38 years, there's always some, black swan event, that doesn't develop. And, you'll know it when you see it. So.
How far out do you like think and consider? Like, are you looking at the next quarter or 2? Are you looking at a year? Are you more short term than that? Like, where do you like to live?
I know you guys use a lot of relative strength. That's all I do. I'm relative strength guy. We have our own proprietary product that takes the market, breaks it down into 440 plus groups, broken out by sector. We actually have 13 sectors. We have an international product, so we track.
Can you tell me about your 13 sectors? What's different between yours and the GICs?
Well, we have transportation in our own area. We broke out services as well. So this is going to be like your waste management companies. And
So like out of industrials, the services out of industrials, essentially.
Exactly. Just because you typically, you have an ongoing source of revenue on a service side. So your ADPs, your payroll processors, that's going to be in our services sector. We were at 12 sectors for years, well before, I don't like the JICs at all. I just don't use them. We went through and did our proprietary group work where we just went through and, looked at a company's, 10K and looked to see who their competition is. And, when you look at the JICs codes, it's not broken out in a finite manner the way that we believe that they should have been. Because again, it's it's someone that we quote call an expert. It doesn't mean they are. It's someone that just developed something.
I'm pretty sure they're not actually.
I'm pretty sure they're not.
You, David, because they do a trash job.
They do. They're horrible. But we have everything from recreational vehicle manufacturers, boat group, RV group. You can break things out a lot more finite if you're doing it yourself. Death services, things like that are unique. And we calculate all of our groups on an unweighted basis, but we break it out by large cap, mid cap, small cap, and micro cap. So you can actually get a glimpse of, if you're looking at micro cap biotechnology, you actually get a glimpse of what's happening. Like if I showed you our micro cap biotechnology chart, you'll see it up on my profile on Twitter. But that's at almost a new price and relative strength high that's breaking out to almost 2-year highs, versus what you see in XBI where someone just went and picked 100 stocks in there that might not actually reveal what's happening underneath the surface. So to me, that's the way we've always done it, and it brings a lot more information to the forefront than what the major indices that are market cap weighted are doing. For my view, I like to find the companies that no one's paying attention to. One of our picks, for example, look at LMB. It's, I got very bullish on the engineering and construction space last July, August. This thing has trounced any tech stock. I mean, absolutely trounced it. And those
Limbach Holdings.
Yeah.
It's like a $440 million engineering stock. There's a lot of these, and even up the cap scale a little bit too, as you get into the 5 billions.
Exactly.
Like these engineering and manufacturing companies from frickin' Ohio,
right?
Right? You know what I'm saying? Like they've been working.
Yeah, but everyone in the investment management business has to own the big 7 because it's a big weighting. You're gonna giving an opinion every day on it. I'd rather find the LMBs where you get, a 300% advance, even if it's a small weighting, it adds alpha. So, I'll pay attention to the big 7 when they break or inflect bearishly or bullishly, but, pounding the table on them, it's, any portfolio manager is going to have to be close to a market weight in them, no matter what they do.
What about interest rates, right? So you're a CMT, you hang out in Minnesota with all these other CMTs, we're talking stocks. In my experience, as a technician in CMT, and I have a lot of friends, it's hard to have a real conversation about the stock market without, bringing in what the bond market is doing, this massive $130 trillion asset that's kind of pushing things in both directions. I'm not talking about the Fed, but specifically the market dynamics in the bond market. Any thoughts on that? How does that weigh into your process?
I have been, since last year, since March of last year. It's higher for longer. When you start breaking 40-year downtrend in rates, they don't resolve themselves in a year.
Yeah.
Okay. You look at the long-term charts and you say, I think the market's positioning for, such that we have a rate cut coming. And honestly, I don't know why we can't stay at 5 or 5.5% as long as employment's good. In fact, if these employment numbers are stating what they're stating, you might have another hike, not a cut. And I've stayed that way the entire year. November 20th, I pinned to my profile. I was making a call on bonds. You had TLT had the highest amount of volume ever on the 19th. That morning I came in, looked at it, and I said, this is This smells everything that a capitulation should look like. I'll know in the next few days if that was a high in the cycle.
Yeah.
And when I say the cycle, I don't know how long the cycle is going to last, but I think that I'm still in the camp that it's higher for longer until something.
But I want to stop you right there because you just kind of like breezed through this part, and I mean I caught it, but I'm like a rare bird. For people who miss what he just said, he saw something in the market that smelled capitulatory, that it looked like certain bottoms he's seen in the past,
right?
and more specifically and more importantly than that, he said, we'll know in the next couple of days if that's the case or not, right? I don't want to just like breeze through that because it's such an important point. In this case, he's talking about the bond market. He could be talking about anything. You see certain market behavior, and then you ask the question, was that the bottom? We'll likely get the answer in a couple of days if we'll get some kind of follow through. Like that thought process, guys, if you're listening out there, is that what he said? You nailed it, David. You nailed it.
Yeah.
I just wanted to.
When you make a call like that, the fluff that you get from people on Spaces and Twitter is, how many times did you call that, this year? I haven't called it once. I've not said one damn thing. I said in February, March.
All you technicians are the same with your squiggly lines.
Well, we all have a different opinion, but we should be allowed to hear what those opinions and why we have them. Give me some, a vegetable tray that we can munch on and say, hey, this is what I'm saying. Discuss it. No one's right. Pivots are hard. I mean, anyone that calls it top or bottom, and I had the fortunate circumstance of working with my father, who again was absolutely a phenomenal technician. When you look at his history on Wall Street, the day of the top in 2000, he called the top. And when you look at the parameters surrounding it, and one of the reasons that we did peak out is you had Tony Blair and Bill Clinton standing at a podium in London on that very day. And Human Genome Sciences was just a few months away from decoding the human genome. So they were standing at a podium and they said, all this information should be shared freely with healthcare companies. We put out a piece, and at that time we were still doing fax machine, right? We didn't have email. So we had 350 numbers programmed into our fax machine, sending it out to all of our clients around the world. And, I spent 2.5 years in Europe over my career, just traveling. Right. But when you had to like send it out to 99, phone numbers, the next 99, and that was the day of the top. And he said, if it can happen to biotech, it can happen to tech. Which was a freaking fantastic call. And was
your old man a Dow theory guy? Because you had a hell of a signal at that time as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, again, with a proprietary product, we could see where all the fund flows were going. And I will tell you, I was playing all those tech stocks. I was younger. And I was making a mint. And I think that one of the things that you see as you get older, I've been bullish the tech stocks, but I'm like, you can't have this market cap weighting. That is my biggest concern. You know what? I will share my concerns that I have, right? If you're looking at staple stocks right now, you got Campbell's reversing a downtrend, ConAgra, General Mills, you got Walgreens and CVS are starting to show reversals. And again, it doesn't mean you have to like them, but at least you have, breadth starting to improve in areas that were just downtrodden. But going through that period back in 2000, when I was doing these tech stocks, and I walk into my father and I'm like, oh my God, I just made, X amount. And he's like, how did you know to buy it? And I'm like, they changed your name to .com, right? I mean, that was literally, he was so beside himself. And I'll say, from my perspective.
How old was he at that point, 99, 2000? Out of curiosity.
He had to be, my age, 50, right?
So 30 years of experience, he's seen a thing or two.
I will say
now you're as cynical as he was then.
Yeah, well, now I'm the more conservative guy, right? Because I've seen bubbles, and that also hinders you because you don't want to believe in the charts that are before you because you've experienced them. So I've shared this on a number of spaces about this interaction with someone that has been in the market for years, my father. And, he went through, going back to the 70s is when he started. So he saw the 73, 74 decline. He was a fundamental analyst at that time. He had industrial companies trading below the cash value of their balance sheets. So, when you grow up and see that throughout time, and now everyone's just buying a stock because they changed their name to vacuumcleaners.com, so when I see this market, the jubilation that I see, I've been through, and that probably makes me more reserved because I've seen the aftermath. And I'm not saying that this is a market that is exactly like that. No, again, no market is exactly like another one, but there's things that you pick up on. And, it's important to realize that, if I'm just a chartist and you remove all emotion, you have what you have. It might not be the market you want. It's the one you have.
Can I ask you about the cash levels? 6 trillion we're pushing in money markets. What does that mean to you?
It means absolutely nothing.
Wow, nothing. Okay.
Absolutely nothing. Here's why. I remember the 2000 bubble. I remember the 2008 and 9. I only care when that money comes to work. And if you throw 6 trillion in the market, trust me, yours and my charts will catch it. It's only when it comes into the market. That's all I care about.
So hold on. So the number of cash in the money markets continues to increase. You'll start to pay attention when it begins to decrease.
I'll pay attention.
You'll see it come into the stock charts. You'll see it come into risk assets.
I will see it come into the market. That's all I need to know.
But we have been seeing it come into the market, and it's still going to cash.
Yeah, and people are starting to get the FOMO, right? Do you see that?
Well, I mean, think about it. All these PMs are way lagging their benchmarks. I mean, it's sickening. The sell side analyst consensus came in looking for a negative year. S&Ps are up 30% off the lows from last year. NASDAQ's up 50%. So there's a lot of players caught off guard. Huge short positions coming into the year. So they were just wrong. And you would think that they would be, kind of flipping and chasing. I'm still seeing a lot of pessimism from the sell side, David.
Oh, absolutely. Again, if you told me there's 4 trillion in money market funds or 8 trillion, I don't care. I'm going to pay attention to what stocks are doing.
The answer is it's the most amount of trillions ever.
And that's, And, I think that what we're going to see, and, you've had emerging markets down for 13 years relative to the S&P 500. Here's my concern. After the tech bubble, the US dollar broke the uptrend at April 12th of 2002. Go look at a chart right around that date. We put out a piece at that time saying that there was going to be a repatriation of funds by foreign countries and pull out of the dollar, and that the market would drop. Look at April 12th of 2002. Look at that decline that you had after that. That was the day, it was really close to that the dollar broke that uptrend. So everyone was piled into the US markets. And I'm going to say, I don't know if this happens, but we got bullish on Europe already, right? Germany's in a recession. Look at the relative strength versus the S&P. It's actually at 5-6 month highs.
Yeah, European financials making new 52-week highs.
Yeah, we're bullish the financials.
These European insurers, man, ripping.
Absolutely. Yep, we've been all over it. But when you see that and you question yourself and say, why is money coming into Germany? Germany's got a PE of 12. U.S. markets have 19, right? And again, I don't care about fundamentals, but everything's relative. And to me, what I would like to see is I don't think the U.S. is an island unto itself. I think global trade is just the way the world works. So many people pay attention to the U.S. dollar index. It's contrived of the same currencies that it was when the index was developed in 1971.
It hasn't. What do you mean it's contrived currency?
The U.S. dollar index is the same index with the same currencies since 1971. Do you think that maybe emerging countries out there have grown to be a considerable amount more trade today.
Well, I think you need to follow it because the emerging market currencies were ripping throughout all of October. A lot of them. So while they're telling you that the dollar's strong and the stock market's weak, I'm like, maybe the euro sucks, but emerging market currencies are ripping. We need to buy stocks.
Yes, absolutely. No, we put a piece out. It was October 24th and the 31st. So it was in our weekly piece that we put out. There was a divergence in the Russell 2000 and the S&P on the percentage of stocks above the 50-day. So we said, suggested this divergence is probably pretty important, even though it's 50-day and not 200-day. But that caught the upside catalyst, October 31st. So we've been bullish, June, July, end of June, early July of last year, caught that divergence in the percentage of stocks above the 200-day. At that time, I said, there's a lot to do out there. Kind of my poster child at that July, June low back last year was Crocs, went from 40 to 140, So again, I do a top-down approach and a bottoms-up. So my team goes through, the Russell 3000. So every week I'm going through the Russell 2000. My coworkers going through the Russell 1000. We put it into a grid. I don't know if you can see this. Sorted by pattern, bottom fishing, positive developing, uptrends, pullback to support, negative inflection, and downtrends. So every week we go through that. And, I was pointing out that, a lot of the regional banks, I had about 10% in there on the bottom fishing back in October 14th, I believe. And the next week it went up to 40%. So you're increasing it by 400% on names that were just technical. I don't know anything about the companies, but
it's a banking crisis, David. Didn't you hear it's a bank crisis? You can't buy bank stocks in a bank crisis.
Yeah. And I caught that bank draft down too. I was calling, I did a space with George Noble back on February 21st and discussed that I think we're going to see a collapse in small cap banks, and it's going to take the Russell 2000 down simply because the weighting of the small caps of banks in the Russell 2000 was pretty significant. But, it was going through and doing the underneath work just every week, going through these, and you start to, see relative strength decay. And, so I was, and I'm not here to toot my horn. I mean, it's
toot away.
So, love what I do. I mean, you eat, sleep, breathe shit charts all day long, right?
Listen, it's the only truth, right? It's the only truth. It's not a CEO's opinion or an analyst's opinion or a government estimate. It's the truth. It's facts. Well, it's never going to get restated.
It's everyone's report card. If you're a portfolio manager and you walk into your client and you say, I own XYZ, great management, but it's down 50%. How do you reconcile that? The only thing that they care about is that performance or that report card. That's it. The quality of a management, because the stock went down 50%. How would you feel as an investor that you entrusted someone that made a bet on a great management that's down, the stock is down 50%. So, the performance chases performance, and it's finding those inflections or sticking with the trend while they're intact is the most important, aspect of what we do.
Because asset prices trend, David. I don't know if you heard.
I get into a lot of discussions on spaces where someone's like, oh, you can't predict, future prices based on past performance. And I'm like, so when a fundamental analyst is talking about margin expansion or margin decay, is that not a freaking trend? Is the clothes you're wearing right now and I'm wearing right now a trend, right? Everything trends. Everything.
No, the fundamental guys have information from the future, David, you see.
Exactly. How do we know the weather's changing unless it's relative to what we saw last week, last year, last month,
it's true.
100 years ago?
It's true.
Everything is relative.
No arguments here. I like it. Let's do this
All
again.
right.
This is fun.
Yeah.
Thanks, David.
All right. Thanks,
Dave Nicoski, Vermilion Research. Thanks a lot.
All right. Appreciate it, guys.
All right.
David's sitting here preaching to the choir. It's like, yes, preach, brother.
Yeah, I
All right,
stumbled on David in a Twitter Spaces the other day, and we were saying a lot of the same things. So I said, "You got to come on the show, man."
I would listen. We're 18 months into a bull market. I was on a Twitter Spaces last night where they're telling me it's a bear market. I was the only one. They asked like 6, 7 people. I was the only one that said we're in a bull market. How is that even possible?
Well, they probably don't own stocks.
and
They're telling me about
that's the rub. Yeah.
They're telling me about like how real estate is going to collapse. Real estate's 2% of the S&P 500. It's 0% of the Nasdaq 100 and 0% of the Dow. So I don't think it's going to be that important. Also, they're telling me that all these VCs, they're doing down rounds. Add up all the private companies in the world, right? And compare it to the $45 trillion U.S. stock market. Where does that? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Things got extra bubbly in their world, even more so than in public markets. So maybe it's just
bubbly.
Private equity.
Yeah. Well, and maybe what they're thinking is like, because we were in a bubble and now we're not, therefore bear market. Because I don't know. I'm just trying to guess here.
Then one guy's like, "Oh, we're in a bull market and a bear market." I'm like, "All right, bro. Here we go. I'm out of here. Time for bed."
Okay, a couple more things, and then I want to bring Sam on here. We got to talk about this GameStop thing. So, obviously, like, I'm not, we're not really looking deep down into these filings for, minute changes in language, but somebody did, and they discovered that GameStop's board of directors has given Ryan Cohen the authority to take the company's cash and trade with it. Basically, he's
Okay.
he what?
Good.
I was gonna say, who's Ryan Cohen?
He's the CEO of
He's the
CEO of GameStop.
I'll tell you exactly who he is. He's the founder of Chewy. He was the chairman of GameStop through the crazy GameStop short squeeze. He was on the board of Bed Bath & Beyond and has traded in and out of that stock for years now. And now
he's the Lord of the Apes.
He's a meme king.
Yeah. Sounds like Strazza has a man crush on this particular gentleman.
No.
A little bit. Sounds like you like this guy. Sounds like Strazza's rooting for him. No, you don't?
No.
Opposite. I think this is some of the craziest news I've ever seen come across a press release. I don't know how everyone wasn't talking about this yesterday. You don't do this with company cash. Like, no one does this. This can end in ultimately one of two ways: bankruptcy or bankruptcy and SEC violations. But there's really nothing else there. Even in the filing, it said that Ryan Cohen will direct the investments and he will be buying and selling securities that he owns personally. Right in the filing. He's already under investigation for pumping and dumping Bed Bath & Beyond stock. He's currently under SEC investigation. Like, he's on their list. There's like maybe one person the SEC hates more than Ryan Cohen. It's probably Elon Musk. This is just crazy. Why, if you have $900 million in cash and you believe in your company, buy it back. Buy your own stock. Don't go trading heavily shorted meme stocks to try and save your company. What is GameStop going to be, a hedge fund in the future?
Well, your stock is a meme stock. So,
like, how does this end? How does this end well with GameStop?
It ends hilariously.
I'm pretty sure that he's just making sure that it ends well for him.
He might end up in jail at this point. I think this is absolutely insane. This is crazy, crazy, crazy. And it's another great stock market moment brought to you by GameStop.
I cannot wait for Matt Levine. He does a good newsletter on Bloomberg. I cannot wait for his take on this today.
Yeah, but there's a good point by PK. Warren Buffett, he trades with the company money. Michael Saylor, doesn't he trade with company money?
Stop, JC. Warren Buffett doesn't trade with company money. He invests. And
okay, got it. So
they're an investment
company. Two different things.
Dude, he's literally they're trading the company treasury.
Okay, well, Warren Buffett is trading the company.
Yeah, but that's why Berkshire exists.
So is Michael. Okay, fine. What about Michael Saylor?
And that's why it was such a big deal when Michael Saylor did that. It's very different in a way because they came out and pretty much owned it. We have no business here selling our little enterprise software. We're going to make a huge bet on Bitcoin and become a Bitcoin company. That's not what
Fun fact. If Warren Buffett would not have bought Berkshire Hathaway, his net worth would be double.
Dude, if you told Warren Buffett that he
Not great.
trades stocks, what do you think he would say to you?
Berkshire Hathaway was one of Warren Buffett's worst investments ever. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that funny?
Buffett trades the float. Guys, what are you talking about?
Buffett's selling strangles, baby. He's YOLOing.
Buys and sells all the time.
Bring in Sam here, who joins us. Sam's coming in. He joins us from our Little Lebowski Urban Achievers.
What? I don't understand that reference.
Well, maybe you should educate yourself.
All right, Sam, I don't have a bumper for you, so I'm just going to bring you on here.
We don't have a Little Lebowski Urban Achievers?
There he is. Hey, buddy. How'd it go?
What's up, guys?
Hey, now.
So Sam is our intern.
Sam, do they have tacos in Kansas?
They do. I had some yesterday. They were
You guys got
fantastic.
Mexicans there?
Yeah, a
Yeah.
lot of it.
Yeah.
So we're very proud.
Every town needs Mexicans. I'm telling you.
I agree.
We don't have them. We got Puerto Ricans, which those are good too, but no, Puerto Ricans don't eat tacos. We need Mexicans, man.
So we're very proud of Sam. It will be the latest CMT addition to our analyst team. We have the best farm system in the business. We turn a lot of CMTs here. And Sam just sat for the level 3 exam yesterday. Why don't you tell us how it went and what you learned studying the CMT curriculum?
Was it hard?
Yeah,
It
tell
was
us about the test,
definitely
man.
harder than the first two. Yeah.
If you failed, you're fired.
I think it takes like 8 weeks to find out.
Third prize is a box of steak knives.
Yeah, no, like every question was an essay question, so that was a big change from the
Yeah.
other two exams. And it was definitely more integrated than the other two. You kind of like had questions like, what if there's a base breakout with overbought RSI, and then it turns into a flag continuation pattern, but then breaks down to the downside? What should your bias be? Questions like that. It's a lot more complex.
Because they just mostly want to see your thought process. It's not so much the right or
Exactly.
wrong answer as it is the
Yeah.
thought process, right? And is it
Exactly.
only given in English?
I guess I'm not sure. I did take it in English.
That's helpful.
Yeah.
Because
I
like the
don't know
CFA,
answer.
for example, is only in English. So if you are not an English speaker, you have to first learn English and then you can sit for the exam. Fun fact.
Yeah, I don't know if the CMT can be taken in Spanish or anything like that.
Or Mandarin.
Or Mandarin. Yeah.
So wait, so it takes 8 weeks to find out, and yeah, what is your now that you've taken the 3 exams? What is your sort of review on each level?
Yeah.
I thought it was they broke it down in a good way. Like level 1, they really give you the basics. Like you get construction of candlestick charts and just the very basics, and then they really ramped it up once you got to level 3. I felt like I did a good job.
Did hanging out with us?
It's a
Did
big
hanging out with
subject,
us
so-
help or hurt?
It definitely helped. The emphasis on relative strength. I don't think enough people focus on that. You guys do an amazing job.
What about the intermarket
that's like all
stuff?
that matters.
lot of intermarket
Intermarket's
stuff?
it's extremely important. Yeah. They I sent a chart to the analyst chat. Strazza wasn't sure about this, but it was the gold to VIX chart. They were talking about that in one of the last chapters of the CMT. I
Gold to
can't say
VIX?
yeah, I can't say I've ever seen that, but it's breaking out. So it looks good.
I made the same face, JC.
Listen, I've seen some shit in my day. That's the first time I hear that one. Gold
Not-
VIX, and it was on the exam?
It was not on the exam, but it was in the
Oh.
textbook.
But not too much about relative strength in level 3, right?
Yeah, no, not as much. No, more portfolio construction and
Back testing, a lot of back
a
testing.
lot of back testing, a lot of
testing.
standard deviations.
Don't forget those back tests.
Hey, Sam, Nicholas Trades in the chat is planning to start his CMT soon. Do you have any tips and tricks for him?
Yeah, definitely read the CMT book. That's extremely helpful. Yeah,
Study.
read all
helps.
the books you can get. Edwards and McGee, Murphy, Shannon, all of them.
Good stuff, Sam. I'm proud of you.
Speaking of Shannon, Brian Shannon will be on our show on Wednesday. But yeah, Sam, great job. We are proud, and then we'll be more proud, hopefully in 8 weeks when you
better
find
have
out.
passed. That's all I'm saying. Because if you didn't, don't be showing your face around here. I passed, for the record. I passed those exams on the first try, all 3 times. But I hear it's a lot harder now. Throw up the gold VIX chart. Look at this. What do you think, Strazza?
Yeah. Maybe
New all-time highs. The first time, I swear to God, first time in my life I ever take a look at this chart or even heard of such a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me what page it's on, Sam, because I'm gonna go read this.
It's towards the end. 700.
All right. Yeah.
I think they just put it there to see if people are paying attention. Like, let's just throw something, right? Let's just see if they're paying, That's funny.
All right. Sam, good job, man. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you, guys.
Nice.
All right.
All right, I'm ready for recess.
Sam's good people. Sam's good
I didn't
people.
get to talk
Ready for
about
recess?
90% of the things that I wanted to talk about today. So
It's okay, because next week a certain someone on this show is going to do a channel check for us.
We're doing some channel checking. Oh yeah.
We're sending him to Disney to do some channel checks. So
I'm
it'll be the
going
Strazza
bar hopping with Goofy and Pluto.
the Strazza and Spencer show next week. So you have all the time, Steve, to talk about all your stuff.
Yes. Yes. I told Strazza, I'm like, all right, Hotshot, what do you got?
So I framed my dong and I plan to hang it on the wall of my office.
Don't say that in the wrong neighborhoods.
I framed my dong, and this is going to go somewhere in my new office. What do you guys think? Because I had such a good time in Vietnam. Sean just reminded me of this because I do enjoy shopping in the airport, particularly in the Vietnam airport. So this is going to go in my office. What do you think, JC?
I think, man, if it makes you happy, Strazza, that's all that matters to me, man. If framing your dong puts a smile on your face, then that's good enough for me.
That's my recess.
Especially you framing your dongs.
I'm ashamed that I mildly laughed at that. I'm really ashamed of myself.
Yeah, we're children. What can I tell you?
I'm really not proud. God, no. I had a recess and I just forgot what it was. Shoot. No, I don't know. I had something. I swear to God, and I don't know what it was.
I threw you off with my dong.
You did. You totally threw me there. No, I don't know. I had something to say, and it's gone.
So listen. So there's this whole thing about adding different types of proteins in your mofongo, right? Like you can add steak or lobster or chicken or shrimp or whatever, right? Which in theory is cool. To each his own. If you want to put lobster in your mofongo, knock yourself out, right? But for me, I'm a traditionalist when it comes to my mofongo, and I like chicharrones. You can even go extra chicharrones if you want. You don't have to. It depends what kind of mood you're in. But you go chicharrones with your mofongo, and you go with the right plantains to go with the rice and beans and churrasco with extra onions. That's living. Get yourself a nice Malbec from Mendoza in Argentina. Woo! That'll get you done.
You can make chicharrones in the air fryer.
No, you want to deep fry your chicharrones in their pork fat, in the lard.
One of the Cuban places across the street does that. They're gone by 9 o'clock in the morning.
That's how to do it. You want to fry it in its own lard. That's the move.
I love mofongo.
It's the healthiest way to eat your chicharrones, is just to fry it in its own.
I'm telling Perlman.
He knows.
Okay.
You'll agree. Yeah, of course. Better than that vegetable oil poison, You want to fry it in its own natural fats. Yeah, that's the move. He'll tell you.
Good. All right, so have a great time at Disney. What park are you most excited for?
Yeah, tell us the plan.
Yeah. Are you going to hit all of them? You don't even know. He doesn't even know.
You guys don't even know. These days, they got the whole thing scheduled out. You got some genie thing where you skip all the lines and you pay a fortune for that. And then you got dinner with Mickey and breakfast with Cinderella and then an appointment at the Bitty Bop Boutique or whatever. And then we're going to Mickey D's, not Mickey D's, Mr. D's, Mr. M's. I don't know. There's like a restaurant, like a Mickey's restaurant thing. It's supposed to be really good, actually. And then Lady and the Tramp is an Italian joint that I hear is pretty good. We're going to check that out. I don't know the order of anything. My wife claims she's told me a million times, but she talks really fast and it's hard to keep up with. So I don't know.
JC, I thoroughly enjoyed at Magic Kingdom. You know, they have like those like turkey legs, like you get like the Renaissance Fair. I thoroughly enjoyed that. So
turkey legs. All right.
Giant turkey leg.
Cool.
I felt cool walking around with that. All right, that'll be our show. JC will be back. You'll actually be back on Friday for Friday's show.
Friday.
So that's what we have for us today. We'll see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. Happy Hanukkah, everyone, to all those who celebrate. I guess last night was the first night. I almost forgot, but I didn't.
O.J. Simpson, not a Jew. That's like one of the best lines of the song.
But guess who is? Hall of Famer Rod Carew.
All right. Hey!
That's right. All right. We're done. Smash the like. Thanks to our guests. Thanks to all of you in the chat. Give us a thumbs up. Go make some money.
Adios.
Have a good weekend.
Bye, everybody.
I might call in on.
Run it. I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground.